Chanel. As the heavy rain pelted down on us in Georgia, I couldn't get over the fact that my mother was dead. The only mother I'd ever known, who took a little piece of shit like me and turned me into the young woman I was today, was gone. How did she, of all people, deserve to be killed in a drive-by shooting? I couldn't wrap my mind around that shit. It ate away at me night and day. The way the authorities told the story, Mama just happened to be walking to the same bus stop where a gang member from another area was also waiting. She got caught in a crossfire when rival gang members spotted the boy at the bus stop and opened fire. I always told Mama she needed to drive or be sure one of us could pick her up. I never liked her walking, but the old woman never freaking listened. Never. Now we were left alone. The wind blew angrily around us, whipping the ends of jackets, sweaters, skirts, and dresses. Many people had to hold their hats to keep the programs from the funeral at the church held tight. Brown, red, and orange leaves danced around our ankles as trees swayed in the music of the wind. The 8 of us stood silent as the crowd thinned out, our hands intertwined, grief pulling us together. Somebody please tell me this is a dream. A horrible fucking nightmare, my sister Melissa begged. She didn't care that tears mixed with snot ran down her upper lip. Her normally pale face was reddened with sadness. She was tall, at least 5'10". Most people would look at her white skin and my black skin and wonder how we were sisters. It was quite simple. Mama Claudette was the foster parent to 8 of us children, all different races and ethnic makeup. She took us in and didn't care one way or another what race we were. She loved us, educated us, she sheltered us, and nurtured us when nobody else wanted or cared to. I glanced to the right of me, at the rest of my siblings. Javon, black like me. My fiance stood to the left of me, hands so tight around mine, he was darn near hurting me, cutting off my circulation. On my right was Corey, Javon's younger blood brother. He was black and Filipino. He too had my hand in a death lock. His locks curtained his face as his head hung low. Next to him was Inez, who was Dominican. As her lips trembled, I knew she was seconds away from breaking down. Next to Inez was Lamont. He was Native American. For as long as he had been my brother, I'd never seen the boy cry. He found other ways to show his emotions, normally by kicking someone's ass. But today Lamont shed tears freely. The tall, hunking fighter looked minuscule against the pain we all felt. Next to him was Naveen, who was Bangladeshi. His skin was brown, and his silky auburn hair was pulled back into a ponytail. He was sniffling as he stared blankly at the beautiful white and gold coffin. Melissa stood next to him. The tall blonde looked as if everything on her body hurt. Then there was our youngest brother Jojo, who was black as far as we knew, but clearly mixed. We just didn't know what. He took Mama's death the hardest. He was guilt-ridden. He was supposed to pick Mama up, but had been running late. I hadn't seen him eat or sleep since the call came in that she had been killed. "It's not a dream, Melissa," Javon said. My handsome king's voice came out with more confidence than I knew he felt. While his eyes watered, I'd yet to see tears fall. As soon as we had gotten the news, he went into protector mode. The phone rang out late in the middle of the night Tuesday. I jumped awake. Sheets tangled around my waist as Javon sat at the desk in my room typing away on his laptop. We each had our own places, but often spent the night with one another. We'd been together since I was 15 and he was 17. Had we been through ups and downs? Yes. There had been breakups, other women and other men, but for the last 2 years, he and I had been on the straight and narrow. No cheating. There was still some cussing and fussing. Javon was a leader, an alpha, and so was I. We butted heads often, but I was learning to let a man be a man. It was hard work, but I was coming around to it. I come to live with Mama Claudette at 13, and he was the first kid I saw, tall and lanky. He had a look on his face that said he wasn't to be fucked with. Corey had been 12 at the time. I was scared and angry at the world, didn't want no woman claiming to care for me, then forced me to leave. So I came in with the attitude that I was going to raise as much as hell as possible, since I was going to get tossed out like the trash anyway. Javon wasn't having it though. Nobody was going to be disrespecting his mama, Claudette. "Baby, grab the phone," I said groggily. "And then turn that damn laptop off and get in the bed, Javon," I fussed. "Always working," I mumbled. He cut his eyes at me but said nothing. He stood in only boxer briefs and nothing more, and gallantly walked to the table by the window to answer the phone. The muscle coiled in his thighs with each powerful stride. We agreed that when we were together after the night had wound down, that our cells would be left in the kitchen, on the counter, on silent. That way we won't be distracted when it came time to spend quality time with each other. The fact that my house phone was ringing told me it was one of the brothers or sisters or Mama Claudette. She often called when she couldn't locate JoJo. That boy was always into something. Luckily, most times it wasn't trouble. But she had received phone calls from cops in the middle of the night when they would find JoJo out with friends doing things he shouldn't have been. "Hello," Javon answered, baritone deep. The scent of our lovemaking was still in the air, which made me smile a bit. His voice always did something to me, deep and molasses thick. It flowed over any woman like molten chocolate. "Who is it, baby?" I asked. He was facing the window away from me. He had been relaxed. The muscle in his back tensed as the seconds ticked away. He ignored me and paid attention to the phone. "This is he," he responded. "Yes," he answered. "Excuse me? Say that again?" The tension in his voice alarmed me. I threw the sheets back and got up to walk over to him. I was worried as I stepped to the side of him and laid a hand on his arm. There was a frown on his face that stopped me in my tracks. "Javon, what is it?" I whispered. Are you sure?" he asked, then looked down at me. My hands gripped his forearms as I studied his face, searching for a clue as to what was happening. "Yes, yeah. We'll come down," was all he said before hanging up the phone. Javon stared at me for a long time, then frowned, like he was seeing me for the first time. There was no life in his eyes, and something akin to shock was registered there. I started to feel dizzy. I knew something was wrong. All of a sudden, I wasn't really sure I wanted to know what that phone call had been about. What if one of our brothers or sisters had been hurt? The last thing I needed or wanted to hear was that something had happened to any of them. It would kill Mama, would crush her soul. She rescued all of us, taking us from the brink of nothingness and breathed life into us. If one of us had suffered the fate of death, it would drain the life from her. "She's dead," he finally said. I panicked. "Who? Who's dead?" "Mama. That was, Victor Hill, the sheriff. Mama's dead." Everything that made me human in that moment ceased to exist. Wait, no. Mama? Mama was dead? I couldn't have heard him right. There I was worried about what would happen to Mama if one of us had passed, and the thought never crossed my mind that someone or something had taken her away from us. Our lives ended and began with Mama. None of us had lived until she had come into our lives. My bones felt brittle, like someone had sent a full blast of electric shock through my system. My mouth went slack. If Javon hadn't caught me, I would have fallen straight to the floor. I hadn't even realized I was screaming until he grabbed me and held me in his arms. No, Javon, stop playing," I pleaded, voice choked with tears. Water reddened his eyes, but no tears fell. Javon was a natural-born leader, so I knew in his mind he was already piecing together how to handle this with the rest of the family. He was a no-nonsense type of person. Once he calmed me down, we got dressed, he made the calls to gather the rest of us. That wasn't an easy feat as the news of her death crushed us. "We have to get to the house so we can greet the well-wishers," I said, once we got all into the limo provided by our Uncle Snap. The ride home was quiet. The mood inside of the limo was just as sullen, moody, and dreary as the one outside. We could see people already waiting for us when we got there. Mostly white, but there were some brown, black, and yellow faces in the crowd. The front door of the house opened to Freedman Park, the only park in the upscale middle-class neighborhood. Come summer, a bright perennial border popped up. The The inside of the old Victorian-style home still has some of the original 1900s woodwork. The house boasted 10-foot ceilings, dark wood trim, pocket doors, and heart pine floors, and the original glass and molding. Over the years, Mama had increased the space from 2,000 square feet to 4,000. She said she wanted the house to grow with us, and it did. We had no idea how Mama got the money to do those things. We knew she was pawning old jewelry she had, working in other people's homes, babysitting spoiled rich brats for days on end. If any of the people now here knew Mama had an EBT card she used to feed us, they probably have shunned her. "Come on, let's get this over with," Javon said after we all exited the limo. The weather refused to be nice to us. The rain just started falling harder. Trees whipped the windows and sides of the doors. The wind was rude to everyone who was brave enough to stand outside. The poor old lady from next door was damn near carried away by it. The smells of different foods, apple pie fought with the fried chicken in the air, swept through the house. I was so tired of people asking me how I was doing and that I was ready to blow.